You're alive. Most people are so ungrateful to be alive. But not you. Not anymore. Game over. Okay. Okay, we're gonna edit that cringy thing out. Welcome all my lovely goblins and ghouls out the unit. I'm Hanyo, your demonic cinephile. And today we start our journey back into Saw on my little mission to rewatch the whole series before Saw X, guess we're calling it, comes out. So Saw. What can we say about Saw? This movie created the whole genre of torture porn. Well, I didn't create it. Creating is a very strong word. I guess you can say it elevated it. It made it more prominent for people to cash grab it and do their own spins and takes on it. Which is very fun because this first movie, which a lot of people don't really wouldn't know they watched it, is very bloodless. There's very little gore in the film. Most gore is either implied, kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the very little bit of gore and blood we see is only like on the screen for about 10 seconds at best. So, what is Saw about? I don't need to tell you, because that's how popular Saw is. More likely, unless you are a 5-year-old, which you probably should be watching this video, you don't know. Everyone knows what Saw is. It's become that popular in the genre of horror and maybe in films itself. But the main premise of the film, just to get to go on with the recap, we have two men, a doctor and a photographer, who are chained to a dirty, nasty bathroom. They don't know how they got there, and they are the latest victims of the serial killer Jigsaw, somewhat preacher-like character who wants to teach people lessons on how to value their lives and put them in these sick, twisted games so they can either die in the game or hopefully survive and come out appreciating their new life. In which probably more likely get you more trauma, probably won't make you live after suffering through all that, but hey, he believes it works, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters for the villain. I think I've seen this the least out of most of the films. I never got to saw it in theaters when it first came out. I'm not sure why. I remember seeing it, renting. I remember renting it back when it came out on, was it Redbox? Redbox, those big red bulks outside of Walmart and gas stations, which I'm surprised are still even used. Are they still making money? I have no idea. Please let me know. I'm genuinely curious. And the first time watching it is still very much a blur. Like, the whole film is a blur. Only part I can fully, truly remember is the ending. Let's be honest, the ending, those last few minutes of the film, is the absolute best of the film. The editing, the Tobin Bell's voiceover narration, where all the clues and pieces are nicked together for the audience really quickly, is the best. Is the best scene in the movie, and especially the song that plays, "Hello Zep." Top A, everything, editing, Tobin Bell, the music, even Lee Winnell, who surprisingly is the best actor in the film. But no, Cary Ellis, he is very. I only want to say hamming it up. He is. You can tell he is putting on a performance. Almost none of his lines come out natural. He feels stiff in all his movements. You, you can tell he's acting for the camera, which sucks because everyone else is giving their A game. Everybody else feels much more real and natural and everything. I'll give him one credit though. Two credits. We'll give him two credits. The scene, the shot of when he learned that his wife and daughter are in trouble, and he's yelling at the camera in the bathroom. The close up on his face when he's yelling, and I think his snot's coming out his nose. That's actually good. That was a good take. You actually got him to emote, and it felt real. You can feel his anguish at the horror he's just discovered. And the second best part of the film is, come on, we all know it. It's the foot cutting scene, and it's not fully really even him. It's also Lee Winnell and the constant cutting back and forth between them, the music swelling, and just the crazies of the situation. Because once you see the saw, you know it's going to happen. Especially if you know the film, you know it's going to happen. You know it is coming. But when he actually goes and grabs the saw and actually about to do it, you're like, oh, fuck, he's going to do it. 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 And then the intensity, the emotion, Lee Winnell freaking the fuck out in the corner, and the constant editing is like, you made it work. And you make it work because you don't need to see the blood. You see a little bit of the blood, you see a little bit of the cutting, but just a little bit of cuts we see in the intensity of Cary Ellis that he's actually bringing pretty good, at least in my opinion. And Lee Winnell freaking out in the corner, it sells it. It sells the gore. It sells the violence without actually seeing it. Which, bravo to you, James Wan. I like that. Speaking of James Wan, this was his and Lee Winnell's very first film. Yeah, I think they co-wrote it together. Yeah, but you can see a little bit early of his what scenes he would become famous for. You know, his creepy get-ups, his love of puppets with Billy. Even some of the techniques he used in the Insidious films, like the abundance of the color red. Because if you see the first two Insidious films, red is such a strong, prominent color for violence and just the intensity of the horror itself. It's like when you see red in the Insidious films, you know it's like an early warning sign that something bad is going to happen. And you get this nice shot in this film where Lee Winnell's character is walking back into his apartment, and the outside of his apartment, the inner hallway, is a coated bright red. And you feel like, and because I know about these city films, you can tell that, okay, he's walking into the danger. Like, even before we know he gets kidnapped, it's telegraphing you that something bad is going to happen, which is even further elevated when he goes into the dark room and starts developing the pictures. Bravo to Lee Winnell, because I always forget how good he is in this film. Yeah, he's a little overacting sometimes. He's a little cringy, but I think that works for his character. This character is kind of like a sleazy a-hole who goes around starts taking pictures of random people just because he needs the money. And it's like, I don't know, it feels like it works, or at least he makes it work, or maybe because he and James are such good friends, at least at the time. I don't know if they still are. You know, they know each other. They know how to make each other look good. I guess that's how you want to say it. Now, what about other characters? We got Danny Glover, who always great and amazing in everything he's in. As detective, as one of the main detectives of the film, he plays the obsessed detective pretty well. And the scene where he's in his own apartment, basically laughing to himself, talking to his dead partner, is pretty fun. It's a pretty good scene. Even though you don't actually see his face in it most of the time, the body language he's giving off is pretty good, and also good props to the set design. You can see how obsessed he is with all the photos gathered around, the several stacks of coffee cups on the table. A good indication, like, yeah, this man has not slept in probably days. Like, he is losing his mind. It's a little underhanded when he actually cut back in a later part of the film, and he's actually is like laughing at himself, like just cackling in his seat, like, okay, it's going a little too far, just a teeny bit far. The other main characters are really nothing, to be honest. The wife and the daughter, they don't get that much screen time or development for us to really know them and feel for them. It's a little kid in trouble, so unless you're a heartless bastard, which I can be at times, you sympathize. Like, no, we got get in there, save the child, save the kid, save the kid. Then we got our second main villain of the film, Zep, which Zep is almost a nothing character. Because you got a quick little introduction to him earlier in the film where he's already at the hospital. He's like, oh yeah, that's John. That's our patient. Which is a fun little way to show how heartless Dr. Gordon, Cary Elwes' character, is. And he didn't even bother mentioning the patient's name. He just all the patients to him are nothing but like numbers on a board. But for Zep himself, like after that, when he's introduced as the second antagonist, where he is breaking to the home of Dr. Gordon and kidnapping his wife and daughter. He acts very weird and creepy for no reason. Because the film did not really say what he's being punished for. It seems like for being a creeper, but actually, hold on, I'm gonna pull that scene back real quick. Yep, I just quickly rewatched it. No, they don't give any explanation for what Zep's supposed sin is for Jigsaw to make him a pawn in this game. But yeah, he just acts very creepy, very weird, and to the wife and daughter. Then when we actually get to see him, get little signs that he's maybe sick, that he may not want to do this, that he's saying he has to because it's the rules, which is a good little thing to indicate that he's not the true antagonist. But this leaves Zep with little to no character. But let's end this by talking about the man of the hour, Tobin Bell as the iconic Jigsaw killer. Yeah, okay. Tobin Bell has no character in the film. He's almost completely unrecognizable throughout the whole film as the corpse, I'm air quoting here, on the floor. I get to see him in the hospital bed, but he doesn't really say. He doesn't say anything. He looks like he's sleeping. The only time you get the interaction with Jigsaw is through Billy the Puppet, in that one scene where he is being trying to be subdued by the detectives, which they give a good little hint of his motivation, where he says, "I'm being sick. I am sick. I am being eaten away. I want to cure other people's illnesses." Which, okay, great hint of the overall thing, which comes back all together in the very end scene, where it's amazing scene. He does have somewhat of a presence throughout the film, which I will give him that, where like through listening to the tapes, random little voiceovers, which kind of get unnecessary, because when the Dr. Gordon opens up the case he finds and it reads and it's a little note written by Jigsaw, instead of having the camera hold on it and let us read it really quickly to figure it out, we have Tobin Bell narrating over it, which is cool because the man has the voice of a demon and I love it. But it's also annoying because there's no reason for an audio overlay. You didn't need him to say it. But it does help keep Jigsaw as an active force in the story. So, we'll forgive it. Yeah, but the whole end scene where he gets up and it starts, and it's like, oh, fuck. This man's been alive this entire time. He's been alive the entire time. And it really freaks you out the first time watching it. Because when, like I said, I don't really remember watching it movie the first time it came out. But I always remember the ending. It always sticks with you. And another little thing I do want to give credit to is the set designer, set dressers. The film is built nicely. The nasty old crusty bathroom with the Danny Glover's set his apartment, how crazy and excessive he looks. The Jigsaw traps My God, the traps, even in this early stage, the reverse bear trap, iconic. That scene, just looking at that big hunk machine, and you get really you figure out what it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to do. Then when you hear the reverse bear trap, it's like, oh fuck, get that off me, get that off me right now. And I also want to give credit to our cinematographers. This film is very early 2000s with the weird flash cuttery, flash forward, very MTV music video style directing, which is fun for the time. It's a nice little good time capsule of a film, which it doesn't bother me because I watch old movies all the time. I watch films from the 40s and 30s and don't give a crap. But I can tell some people might not enjoy those moments. Probably the most creepiest shot in the whole film is that shot where when Diana, the little girl, is trying to go back to sleep, her closet door, we see them, it starts to open up, like very slowly, kind of loud and creaky, and Cameron does a nice little zoom in to Zep and get to see only his eye and the skin around it is Litten. And it's a very fun, awesome callback to Black Christmas. But for the first Saw movie, it's as a standalone film, it holds up. It's very creepy. It's very it gets you on the edge. Only bad part holding it, only thing that's really holding it back is kind of Cary Ellis. At least nowadays. I'm not sure what was the thoughts about him when the film first came out. But it is saved by James Wan's fantastic direction. It is saved by the cinematographers making everything look as believable and nasty as possible. You feel you're in that horrible, nasty bathroom. You feel their pain. You feel the claustrophobia kicking in. And that saves it. Tobin Bell's very minimal performance, but spread throughout the film in perfect lengths, saves it. The presence of the Jigsaw killer is throughout the whole film. As a standalone film nowadays, it's okay. It's a good film. But as a first chapter of this saga, I say it's pretty good, pretty great. Because it gives you a great introduction to Jigsaw. It gives you a great introduction of who this character is, what he's about, and just gives you just enough little stepping stones of what's going to come forward. Well, yeah, that's my thoughts on the first Saw. Not as great as I remember, but still a fantastic film to watch. And what do you think about this? What do you think about the first Saw film? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Does it still hold up for you? Do you never liked the film to begin with because you thought it was a gore fest, but were surprised when it wasn't? When it wasn't a gore fest? I want to know what you think about the film. So please put it down in the comments down below. And we will cover all the Saw movies before the new one comes out. Yay! No, we shouldn't say yeah. We shouldn't be like that. Saw 2 so great. Saw 3, I remember liking. The rest kind of blurred together. That's not a good sign, is it? Well, I am Hanyo, your demonic cinephile, and I will see you all in the next video. So, bye-bye.